Dude, seeing you like exercise all the time and running, and that's really cool. I've been doing like these 5Ks recently, trying to get back in shape, and it's seeing you out there killing it. Have you been a runner for a long time, exercising?
Um, yes and no. I grew up playing sports. Um, I was always athletic, and I used to run I remember doing like 3 miles around my neighborhood growing up. But once I got into music and stuff around probably like 13, 14, is kind of when I started falling off playing sports. Played football 1 year in high school at 16, but yeah, after that I didn't run for years. And I'd say it's probably like 3 or 4 years ago, right before I turned 30, I kind of got back into it. But a big reason was I was coming up on a 10-year anniversary of a car crash that I was in where I broke my hip.
I was like 18 years old, just driving home trashed, going around a corner, my iPod slid out of my lap, and I reached for it and basically stopped watching the road completely, stopped driving completely. I remember the steering wheel started shaking because I wasn't even holding it really, no pressure on it, you know. I looked up, I had time to say, oh shit, before I hit the pole. Well, really, there was a ditch, and I kind of went down the ditch and ramped up into the telephone pole. I didn't have a seatbelt on, so I almost went through my windshield. There was a big hole where my forehead smashed into it, but I'm pretty sure my steering wheel slowed me down. Steering wheel was kind of like flat almost, and I'm pretty sure the steering wheel slowed me down enough that I bounced off the windshield into the back seat. If I would have gone all the way through the windshield, that hole lined up perfectly with the pole, like the dent in my car where it wrapped around the pole. You could line that up perfectly with the hole that my head hit. So I definitely would have been dead on the hood of the car. But I ended up in the back seat. Kind of came to. It's all smoky from the airbags and everything, and I remember just seeing little splats of stuff landing everywhere, and soon realized it was my face squirting blood out. Skin graft right there in between my eyes, healed up nicely after about 5 surgeries. but but yeah, so I came to. Um, Still kept looking for that iPod because I knew I had to walk now, so I wanted some music, but I didn't have a phone. I was at a Braves game earlier that day. That's why I was so trashed. We'd been drinking since like 10 a.m. in the morning, and I lost my phone. The whole day was a mess. Um, but yeah, so I had no phone, so I just got out and I started walking, and then like a quarter mile down the street, maybe not that far, but probably a little under a quarter mile, I realized I forgot my book bag, and that wouldn't be that big of a deal, but that book bag had a bunch of drugs in it because I was selling drugs at the time. And I didn't even really think about the cops finding it or anything. I really was just like, I need to make money. That's, I have to have that. So, um, I jogged back to my car unaware that my hip was broken. Just full adrenaline going, I guess, and being so drunk. So I jogged back, I grabbed my bag, started walking again, and right about that time that I started walking again, another car pulled up or started passing by, and this is a back road at like 3 a.m., so I wasn't expecting to see anyone at all. That car pulled over, and I went up to him, I was like, I need your help. He was like, yeah, dude, get in the back seat. Like, what the fuck? I was just a bloody mess. And as I was getting in his back seat, another truck pulled up. And I was like, all right, this is too much. I'm drunk. I got drugs. I don't need this many people. So I just said, hey, everything's fine. I'm fine. This guy's helping me. You're good. Thank you for stopping. But, get out of here. And that dude walked around. I got in the back seat at that point on the right-hand side. And that dude walked around, and he was like, is your name Jordan Daniel? And I was like, how do you know my name, dude? I didn't tell you my name. He's like, I think this is your friend out here. And sure enough, it was my friend Sean. and he just recognized my voice. He couldn't recognize me though, because I was completely covered in blood. And he was like, dude, get in. So I went to get in his truck, and he was like, well, do you mind getting in the back? Because I was bleeding so much. So I hopped in the bed of his truck. I was like, yo, you got to take me back to Kelsey's. He knew where that was. Went back to Kelsey's. That's where my brother was. That's where some friends were. And that's where I needed to drop my bag. So that's what I did. Immediately, they saw me. I don't think they could even believe that he brought me back there looking like I was. But so everyone jumped up. My brother jumped up, threw me in the car, took me to the hospital. In the meantime, I'm telling everyone else, I'm like, you got to figure out a way to get my car towed. Just somehow get my car gone from that area so the cops don't find it and I can get away with this shit somehow. So when we got to the hospital, I just told the doctors that I'm pretty sure I got hit by a car. I was skateboarding home, and they were pulling a bunch of glass out of my face. So they're like, yeah, that adds up. Well, the cops showed up, and the cops were asking what kind of car I drive. And they asked where it was. And I was like, it's at home. And they're like, well, we found it wrapped around a pole. And I said, what? Someone stole my car and wrecked it? And they said, man, do we need to test the blood all over the car, on the inside, everywhere? I was like, no, okay, you got me. I crashed it. Well, the doctor walked in. He was pissed. He was more pissed than the cops because he was like, I don't know how to treat you. I had a friend's mom that worked there, and he got mad at her. We wouldn't let us talk to each other anymore because he's like, your friend's lying to me. So yeah, it was a code blue situation. I didn't know I was bleeding out, but the hospital was freaking out. Everyone was freaking out. They said they just got done with 2 gunshot victims. I was like the worst thing they'd seen in like 5 years. So I was making jokes, and no one else found it funny at all. I thought I was going to go to work the next day. I mean, that's how fucked up I was. I told him, I was like, you got to hurry up because I got to get home so I can get ready for work in the morning. All right, buddy, you're not fucking going to work. So yeah, ended up getting skin graft right here. There's all kinds of shit you can't see on the camera right now, but my face was fucked up. I had like 5 surgeries. They would like sand the scars down. It was gnarly. It was a lot of stitches, like 100 stitches in my face, something like that. But I broke my hip. Doctor offered me a hip replacement, but I said no way. So I can't do that young. And he agreed. He told me to just hang on until I couldn't take the pain anymore. And he gave me about 10 to 15 years, which we're at that point now. So that's why I'm just going strong running. But trying to make sure I didn't leave out anything. Oh yeah, this was 2 weeks before I had court for my first DUI. So I went to court on a walker. My hip was broken, my right wrist was broken, and my face was just wrapped up because it was just so fucked up. And the judge asked me, what happened? And I was like, car crash. And she was like, well, I hope it wasn't alcohol related. And I kind of laughed, and I was like, well, it is. So I'll be seeing you again. And I did. Same judge. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Spent like a week in the hospital, and then spent, I want to say like 9 months learning how to like walk again, basically. Bedridden. It was terrible. One good thing did come out of it though, that I guess I'll throw out there and mention, is that I was bedridden at home for about 6 to 8 months, started getting out of the house when I was got to crutches and could kind of get around that way, but it took about almost a year to be able to walk on my own again. But those first 6 to 8 months I spent home, my dad had just had back surgery, so we spent a lot of time together in those 6 to 8 months, and he ended up taking his own life that year. So I'm grateful in a way for that crash because it gave me that time with him. I wish my body didn't hurt from it. But it's one good thing I can take away from it, I guess. But yeah, that's the crash I went through. That's kind of the inspiration a decade later to get me running. And I don't think it really plays a part into running anymore, except for I feel like I'm on a timeline. My time's running out to run with my hip the way it is. And my goal doesn't stop at marathon distance. My end goal is I just want to run one 100-mile ultra marathon. I would love to do more than that, but that is my goal. I just want to do one 100-miler. It's a personal thing, I guess. But I'll run as long as I possibly can, as long as my hip holds up. And I'm just going to keep holding out on surgery, hoping that technology keeps getting better and better and better. And maybe I can get a real new legit hip and not have to worry about it. But yeah, it was a gnarly crash. Almost died. They did say that's one thing I forgot. They said that I would have never made it. When I started walking, the distance that I had to walk was probably 2 or 3 miles. They said I would have never made it. I would have bled out on the side of the street. And they said they were so mad at the hospital because they said illegals will crash like that and they'll run into the woods so they don't get arrested, you know what I mean? So they had a helicopter out looking for my dead body in the woods. Basically, the news was out there. So they were not very happy to just find out it was some drunk, dumb kid.
You seem super disciplined.
Yeah, well, right now I'm training for a marathon. It'll be my first full marathon. I've ran 2 half marathons previously and a couple 10Ks. But I think right now my training load is 5 days a week. I think I'm running.
Wow.
And I'm in the gym lifting 5 days a week also. And the miles are increasing a lot right now. So I'm thinking this week I'll end up with like 32 miles for the week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. That's why I love running. It's just constantly, you're just battling yourself, and you know what I mean? It's just only you can make yourself progress. So, and there's no like fast time. Like you're saying how I'm faster than you, but you're still out there doing it, you know what I mean? So
Right. I appreciate that, man. What do you have like do you get like, this is a silly question, but I'm trying to get faster and better, and the blisters and all these side effects from running, does that bother you? Do you get those kind of things? Like I get like nipples, man, and like blisters, all this stuff, man. It's brutal.
yeah, it's definitely been like a humbling experience. I do okay with blisters, and like a lot of people have the problem with the nipples, rubbing them raw
Yeah,
and
dude.
all that kind of stuff. I've more so had a lot of the nagging injuries, like runner's knee. I've messed up my Achilles, the shin splints, stuff like that. I think a lot of stuff with my legs, all the injuries I get in my legs, I think has to do with my hip. But
Yeah.
I think from years of it being imbalanced, so it's really been a learning experience, man. And yeah, it's super humbling. You'll find out real quick that it's not a pain-free sport.
All right, man. Last question I'll ask about running. We'll move on. But how many miles are you up to now? Training,
Training, like I said, this week I think I'll end with 32. So my long run on Sunday will be 16 miles.
Whoa.
And then
Dude.
So that'll be a long one, but my load leading up to marathon, I think in 3 or 4 weeks, I got a 21 miler scheduled. So that'll be my longest one, and I think at that point I'll be a little over 40 miles a week.
Yeah, dude, that is amazing, man. That is really cool. Yeah, I'm
Well,
impressed.
Thank you.
What do you listen to when you run? Do you listen? Do you have a playlist or
No,
you know?
I get that question a lot actually, and I think I surprise a lot of people. A lot of the time, I'll just turn on a podcast,
Oh yeah.
and but it really kind of depends on the run. If it's like an easier, just slower paced run, then definitely just a podcast. Sometimes like a stand up comedian podcast or
I
something like that.
love that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just something easy because if music will get me going, you know what I mean, and I'll end up running faster than I planned on. But so like today was a track day, um, all fast.
All flat. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just put on Spotify DJ and just let him shuffle the songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally if it's faster day, something upbeat. If I want to listen to something on a slower run kind of day, then I got like an acoustic playlist. But other than
Hmm.
that, yeah, podcasts are just fucking rock and roll. You know what I mean? Whatever I'm
Yeah.
feeling that day.
Yeah, man. So you're in three bands. We got some mutual friends. I've had Strike First here at the house with Win and Ronnie. And Ronnie actually told me that he used to have a nickname for you, or still has a nickname for you. Dookie, is that right?
Dookie J is what they call me in Strike First. Yeah,
How did that name happen, man?
dude, it's so dumb. But we were Strike First wasn't even there. My other band, Rotten Stitches, was playing a show in Florida, and Robbie, our Strike First rhythm guitarist,
Oh yeah.
he's in Rotten Stitches now. He's our bassist, but he wasn't at this point. But he rode. I think he stayed in the same hotel as me and my girlfriend. I think we shared a room, something like that. But it was literally just us hanging out in the hotel room, and I farted one time, and somebody in the room said Dookie J, and it has stuck. It's my name in our group chat. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
so I've
that
just
needs to go
embraced
on a
it.
t-shirt, Dookie J.
Yeah.
So you got three bands. You seem so disciplined. Ronnie told me that too. He's like, and obviously, I mean, you work out 5 days a week, run, and three bands. Have you always been this way? Like so much going on? I'm sure you work as well during the day.
Yeah, yeah. Do construction during the day. An apprentice in the electrical union. So
Mm.
I also got school. You can add on to the list of stuff I
Wow.
got. I was just doing homework before this interview.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's a lot. And I don't think I have always been like this. So years ago, I was just an alcoholic, just raging punk rocker. No future, no hope.
Hmm.
And I got a lot of DUIs. That's where that car crash came from. That was one of them. Um, and eventually, I got enough that I got put on a program, and I was basically getting drug and alcohol tested every single day for 2 years. So it's completely sober. That's around the time that I decided to run up that mountain too. That's when I started getting
Mm.
back in the gym and stuff. I was just sober, no license. You know what I mean? I couldn't band practice had to happen at my house, and that was few and far between at the time. So um, I just got off track. But
Yeah, no,
what
no,
was your question?
yeah, no, you were talking about
Oh,
getting sober and
so that's around the time that I started adding a lot more on my plate, and I think that's where the discipline comes from. I just don't want to go back to who I was. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
But yeah, I try to keep my plate stacked up as much as possible.
How do you keep track of everything? You have so much going on. I mean, do you just write everything out? What like what's today's schedule? Or like the month or week?
Kinda. Um, the phone helps a lot. The reminder app on the
Oh
phone.
yeah, yeah.
I do that, but everything's kind of laid out. Where it's kind of the same every week because band practice is always on the same days, so that's helpful. But I mean, I do be forgetting like we got a show coming up and shit. But it really depends on what is most important at the time. It's hard to balance everything. I think that's something I need to work on is really balancing everything. I'm good at managing it, I'm good at getting everything done and fitting it all in and just making sure I make everything happen. But at some point, something's kind of getting neglected, like if I got a test coming up, then some music stuff might get neglected or school might get neglected for music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really miss running or gym work. I don't really miss my training because I pay for these races that I sign up for, you know what I mean? And I just go straight after work also. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I get it in. I'm already in work mode, so um but yeah, I wake up real early and I get to work at 5 a.m. and then I get off around 1:30, 2:30, depending on what job I'm at. Go straight to training, and then come home, walk the dog, and then jump straight onto homework. Do a couple hours of that, and then I'll jump straight to music. And like I got a whiteboard right here in front of me that has all 3 band sets on it, so I'll just run through the sets, work on any new music we got going, and then cook some dinner. Try to have dinner with my girlfriend, and repeat.
When you're in 3 bands, are you writing for the bands as well? I mean, you're writing music with these guys?
Yeah, the Hanging Judge, I don't write as much in, but we are gonna start trying to write a new album. Kind of just been writing on the album they wrote before I joined that band.
Mhm.
And Strike First, we all write collectively, but Win is definitely the main writer in that band for sure. But Rotten Stitches, I do a lot of the writing for, and I'll write full demos here on GarageBand and stuff. So that takes up a lot of time. That's always a big priority too, is get music finished or work on something when sent or whatever it may be.
Is Rotten Stitches your first band of all these 3?
Yeah.
So when did this band start?
2011.
So is that when you were still like partying and everything? When
Yeah, absolutely. We're me and the front man. We grew up together, went to school together. I think we were 18 when we started the band. So yeah, we were partying hard, really hard, and that's basically all we did for a decade was party really hard and tour as much as possible. And then yeah, I guess around 2020 is when I joined Strike First. So I was just in one band for about 10 years.
Yeah, Rotten Stitches that you're talking about, is his name Jake Nasty? I got my
Yeah.
that's the singer?
Yes.
I like that, man. So in 2020 when the pandemic, did you guys just form Strike First right in the middle of all that? 2020 of the
No,
pandemic?
they were. DDC was still alive at that point,
Mm.
and Strike First was just supposed to be like a little side project for them. And I don't really know what happened with the following out, but they ended up kicking their bassist out. So I'm not an original Strike First member, although my face is on the first mini album that we put out. But there's a small credit on the insert to that bassist that recorded that.
Dude, I
But
didn't even know that, man. I just thought you were always the original.
yeah, that's what most people think, but I always like to at least throw it out there that I didn't record that first album just because, I don't want to take credit for something that's not mine.
Right on, right on. I like the music videos you guys did in Strike First, Dead End Boys and Wolves. Yeah, was
Yeah,
that the first time you made a video or were in a video?
yeah, actually, yeah, those are my first music videos.
Did it take all day, or was it
Yeah,
painful?
yeah. It's not, well, Rotten did one that was a little bit more of a scene to it or whatever, I guess. We had to walk around a bunch and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that took all day, and that was a headache. But the one Strike First does, we make it easy, man. It's kind of just done in a room, and we just
Yeah, one
go
was
through.
that Blackstrap, right? Was it Dead End Boys? That
Yeah,
Blackstrap? Yeah.
or not, or no, not, but right across the street, wherever they
Oh yeah,
practice.
got you, man.
The school.
The school. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Let There Be Rock. What am I thinking?
yeah, yeah. But we do got another music video we're working on that has a bunch of footage from Blackstrap. So hopefully that'll come out soon.
And you guys are making a new album, right? That's coming out.
Yeah, we'll actually be in the studio next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay,
Yeah.
just that'd be okay. For some reason, I was thinking it was already finished, but yeah, you guys are gonna be starting next weekend.
Yeah, we'll be starting. So
The other band, so you got three. The Hanging Judge. Man, this is such a great band, and I have to talk about the cover song, the Nervous Breakdown, Black Flag.
oh
That was a
yeah,
great cover song, man. Whose idea
yeah.
was it to cover that one?
I think Richard again. That's a band that I'm not an original member of either, and I remember jumping on stage and singing it with them the first time I saw them play it live. So, but I think it was
Mm.
Richard, the frontman. He loves doing that song, and we've been doing Nothing by Negative Approach lately too, which is a super fun one.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
Never is classic. You know what I mean? Everyone always loves that song. So
Yes, dude. I love Black Flag. That's so cool.
I
Mm.
actually was just going to be a fill-in for him, and for like 3 shows, and then after those 3 shows, a couple more came up, and then they're like, "You just want to join?" You know what I mean? So, but so yeah, I haven't had anything to do with the writing process in that band yet, but it should be coming soon.
It's like almost like I want to see like how many bands you can like maintain. Like, could you do like 4 bands and prepare for a marathon, school,
I
girlfriend,
don't
everything?
I don't think my girlfriend would be too happy.
Growing up, man, how did you get into music? Well, did you have somebody like an older sibling or something, or like how did like the punk scene, how did you get involved with that?
Yeah, so I had an uncle that he was into music. I remember like Christmas parties, family get-togethers and stuff. That he put his little band down in the basement or whatever. They never got like, I don't know how big they got or anything, but they were super good at playing covers and stuff like that. I know they tried to do a bunch of stuff back in the '80s, like hair metal stuff, but he was super good. So that was always cool. I just sat there and watched them and was amazed my whole childhood every time they'd play. And then I had another cousin who their house burned down, and so they came and lived with us for a couple months or whatever. And I mean, we had a small house, so we were right on top of each other. And I got 2 other brothers, and this one cousin in particular, he pulled me aside from my brothers who were listening to rap, and he's like, "No," and he showed me Metallica and Motorhead and Slayer. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
my yeah, that was my first introduction to like heavy metal and like the path to punk rock, because my uncle's playing like oldies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So um Metallica was the first introduction I had to like heavy music, and then I was into that for a couple years, and at like 12 years old, a buddy who ended up being one of my best friends forever, he was just walking through my neighborhood. He was moving in, and he was just walking through, and he looked cool. So I said, "What's up?" And he said, "Let's skateboard." So the next day, I got off at his bus stop, and he showed me the casualties, and that was it. I was hooked,
Was
and that was
yeah.
right around like 12 years old.
Did you pick up a guitar first or a bass first? Like what instrument did you start with?
I picked up a guitar first, and then Johnny, he was a drummer, and soon enough we found a couple other guys, one singer and a guitarist, and they needed a bassist. So I got a bass, just a little pawn shop bass, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I was going to be a bassist. And originally, so that was just a young little kid band, you know what I mean? We're like 14, 15 years old. We never did anything. But when Rotten started, I was going to be the bassist for Rotten because I thought I was a bassist. But I had a guitar, and we didn't have any other members. It was just me and Jake Nasty. So I just started writing. He just got out of juvie, or it could have been real jail. I don't know. I don't remember how old we were when we started writing, but he had a bunch of lyrics written already. So I was like, well, hell, I'll just play guitar until we find a real guitarist. But that took like a year. So I was like, well, I'm the guitarist now. And
Wow.
then, yeah, so that's how I became the guitarist of Rotten Stitches. And then, funny enough, with bass, I never even touched my bass really again for a decade. And
Mm.
Strike First hit me up, and they're like, "You want to play bass?" I was like, "I mean, I would love to play with you guys, but I really don't know what I'm doing." And Win was like, "You're fine. Come to practice." Turned out to be decent at it.
Yeah. Did you ever take lessons on guitar? Or is it just like put your finger here and do this? You know, like
Yeah, no, it's all self-taught. Just figuring it out with friends, you know what I mean? And then when YouTube came along, that helped a ton.
oh yes,
But
yeah,
I can remember having like an old folder with just like tons and tons and tons of printed out tabs, and that's how I learned back in the day, you know.
yeah. I was thinking of like me and talking about Ronnie again. Him and I always talk about our favorite like punk album, and it's always comes up "Rancid Out Come the Wolves."
Yeah.
What's your favorite like your Mount Rushmore? Like, what's your favorite album you put on?
Yeah, like an album that I could always go back to for sure, I think would be like the Casualties on the Front Line.
On the front. Okay.
Or really like any of the Casualties or Global Threat, the Unseen, the Virus, any of the like early 2000s hardcore street punk kind of stuff. That's what I grew up on, and that I mean that's just like I can't even pick a favorite, you know.
Yeah.
But also I can't agree that Rancid and Out Come the Wolves is you can't go wrong, you know.
Yeah, dude. Matt Freeman, like on the bass, like he's just insane to me. I can't even air
Yeah,
guitar what he's doing, so fast.
I always tell Greg first, I'm like, I'm gonna learn the Maxwell Murder bass
Oh
solo
yeah.
just so we can cover it, you know what I mean? But I can get it, but it's it is a fucking tough one.
Yeah. I feel like it's like you're like practicing for a marathon or something,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
That's stupid. Casualties though. I gotta check them out though. I gotta what album should I start with? You said? Which one was your favorite one again?
I loved On the Front Line.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
check that out. Okay.
yeah, check that out, and then that's one of their older albums, and they're still putting out great music today. So I would check out their whole discography or whatever it's called. You know what I mean?
So now that you got all this stuff going on, I was thinking like, what's your vice now? Like, do you do anything? Like do you have any vices now? Like anything you do you shouldn't do anymore? I mean, you don't drink anymore or anything?
Well, I still drink every now and then, but it's really just when I go out and play, I'll drink.
Yeah.
But I smoke weed still.
Yeah,
So
that seems like a good choice.
yeah, that's kind of my thing. I love getting super stoned before I go on a run.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
yeah, it's like my secret weapon. You know what I mean? Just zone out.
I see these ads coming up now where they have like these gummies for running.
Oh
It
really?
gives you that runner high, but it's like more intense.
I
Yeah, I'll
need to
just send
find.
you a link. It's weird,
Yeah, but man, yeah, that's probably the only vice that I really have. Unfortunately, I love drinking. I love beer. I love the taste of beer,
Me
but
too.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't align anymore with the training, all the training that I do, and I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, so it's like
Mm.
I've done it enough. Waking up still half drunk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess just getting older, it's been easier to put down, but that's the one thing I do miss, just beer all the time.
Well, at least it's not totally gone. So, it's not like a permanent,
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, running, you said you smoke weed before you run. That's wild to me. So, I mean, does
I
it
know.
make you like more thirsty or anything, like any kind of side effects from that?
No, but everyone always thinks I'm kind of crazy for that. But I hydrate so much throughout the day and the days leading up to any big runs, and um, I don't know. It's something I've always done, even before I was running and just going to the gym. I like getting super stoned, but
Yeah.
it's definitely part of my ritual before I go on a run is to get as high as I can.
So what shows do you guys have coming up? Like what's your are all three bands gonna be touring? They're not touring, but playing different shows, or is there one focus you're doing?
Well, Hanging Judge just played a show this past Saturday at the Star Bar. Um, what else do I got coming up? Then Strike First is in the studio next weekend, so we don't got much. We don't got any shows booked right now. I don't think at all. And Rotten, we're going to Syracuse, New York, August or September 6th. We're playing a 2-day festival out there. So we're just flying out and doing that and then headed back. But Rotten is also writing and trying to get in the studio this year. So all three bands right now, I've kind of been on a little hiatus from shows, which has
Hmm.
been kind of helpful for me with how much I have on my plate right now. But yeah, usually it is kind of crazy trying to navigate all the shows because all three bands prefer to play out of state. We don't play locally quite as much. I'm actually missing the Hanging Judges playing PA at the end of this month on the 30th, but I'm not going to be able to make that one. So they'll have a fill in for me out there.
Do you
But
guys
yeah,
just fly? Do you fly every time, or do you have like a van that you travel with as well?
normally rent. If we're traveling, if we're driving, we'll rent a van, and then if we
Hmm.
do that, we'll make like a little 3 or 4 day run out of it. At least make some money to pay for it all. But with the Syracuse one, it was kind of like I'm literally gonna fly out there Saturday morning. I'm kind of crazy too. I guess I'm gonna do this. I have like a 14-mile run I need to do that weekend. So I think I'm gonna fly out Saturday morning, do 7 miles in Syracuse, play the show, hang out all night, and go back to the airport, and then fly out at 5 a.m. in the morning, land, and do the other 7 miles, and go to sleep. So goes back to the balancing. Am I balancing it or am I just managing? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna get it all in.
That's great. I mean, oh man, running's the best. I mean, just that mental clarity you must have. I don't know how you keep all this music in your head, like, and when you're taking breaks, like, do you ever? I mean, it just seems like so much music that you got to memorize. Do you just play by ear a lot of times?
Yeah, that's most of it's playing by ear. A lot of it is like just being like, please, muscle memory kick in. Just
Yeah,
remember it. You know what I mean?
right.
But I also like right now, leading up to the studio, stuff like that, in the car, at work. Besides running, I'm pretty much constantly listening to our little demos that we have recorded on our own. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm just
Hmm.
listening to my music all day long. So it's just stuck in my head. And that's kind of how I practice when I don't have time to actually have my instrument in my hand.
When you play on stage, do you get do you get any kind of nerves or anything, or is that just you feel most comfortable being on stage?
Leading up to a show, every show, I get nervous right before we go on. I don't know why, but I do. But really, as soon as I step on stage and I put my guitar on and like tune or whatever, just you're thinking about stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? You just get into
Hmm.
go mode and start doing it. And then, yeah, being on stage is probably the most freeing feeling. Like, it's a blackout. I kind of don't remember it much, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's the coolest and most free feeling I've ever felt. I think that's why, like, it'll just be something I do my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, last question, man. I don't know if I asked you this or not. When you're doing this marathon run, uh, what run is this? When does this take place?
October 25th. It is the Silver Comet Marathon, which is I think this is their 14th annual marathon. But the Silver Comet is a trail. Are you familiar?
Mm-mm. No, not.
No,
I don't think so.
I wasn't either. Until I just found this race and decided to sign up for it. And now I've been going to run this trail that I found out is like 20 minutes from where I live. But Silver Comet is a cool trail. It runs from like Smyrna all the way to Alabama. And
Whoa.
it's an old like railroad, I guess, track or something like that that they just converted into a paved path. So obviously I'm not running all the way to Alabama, but I'm going to run 26.2 miles of it.
Yeah. No, I gotta check that out. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're into like biking or anything, but there's tons
Yeah.
of like bikers or like cyclists over there. It's super popular for that too. And it's a beautiful little trail.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I'll have to add links to that too, if anybody's wondering where it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude. And I look forward to seeing you guys play. I look forward to the new Strike First material, man. That's cool. I'm not sure if we met in person yet. Like I think I've seen you guys play, but we've never met before.
We did for a brief moment at a Blackstrap show, but
Oh,
the
man.
drinks were flowing nicely for both of us. So
Yes. Yeah, dude. I remember buying like a 12-pack of PBR there, and I was just handing them out to people. I was like, that's the moment I realized I need to go home.
Yep.
Well, Jordan, man, I appreciate being on the show, man. This means a lot, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you.